FBI headquarters in Washington, D.C. for a special unsolved mystery segment called FBI Alert. Associate Deputy Director Oliver Ravel will profile several wanted fugitives. Watch closely. Perhaps you can help bring them to justice.
In fewer than 6 years, drugs worth over $50 million passed through the organization of Thomas Paul Hickey and William Charles McCarthy. In 1986, they were indicted on 43 criminal counts. They fled before they could be apprehended.
Thomas Paul Hickey is 5 feet 11 inches tall, weighs 160 pounds, and has green eyes and blonde hair. He is said to be a charming individual and has used the nicknames T-Bone and Grover. Hickey has owned antique stores and is an avid fisherman. William Charles McCarthy is 6 feet tall, weighs 180 pounds, and has brown hair. He has used the aliases of James Fisher and Mark David Matthews. He is traveling with his wife and 6-year-old daughter. In May 1989, he was sighted in Vancouver, British Columbia.
Our next case concerns one of the FBI's 10 most wanted men. He's a violent career criminal with numerous convictions for armed robbery and drug offenses. On April 12, 1989, Arthur Lee Washington, Jr. was pulled over by a New Jersey state trooper. Washington fired at the officer with a semi-automatic pistol, then fled.
The 6 foot 1 inch tall Washington weighs 180 pounds, has black hair and brown eyes, and sometimes wears glasses. He is associated with members of the radical and militant Black Liberation Army. Washington has gone by the nicknames of Artie and Fats. He has tested positive for AIDS and may be showing symptoms. Washington has distinctive scars on the back of his right thigh, his neck, and wrists. He is a vegetarian and may be living in the mid-Atlantic region.
Our next case concerns the vicious, drug-related murder of a mother and child. On May 20th, 1988, Juan Jackson, Gennaro Camacho, and 2 accomplices, armed with semi-automatic weapons, barged into the home of Dallas narcotics dealer Sam Jr. Wright. Wright was there with his girlfriend, Evelyn Banks, and their 3-year-old son, Andre.
Wright managed to escape, but the mother and child were kidnapped and taken to Oklahoma. At this point, Juan Jackson left the group. Camacho allegedly later shot and killed Evelyn Banks and her son, Andre. In May of 1990, Genaro Camacho was sentenced to death for another murder. Juan Jackson is still at large, wanted on charges of kidnapping. Jackson is 26 years old, 5 feet 9 inches tall, and weighs 160 pounds with a muscular build. He has black hair, brown eyes, and a half-inch circular scar above his lip on the left side. Remember, all of these men may be armed and are considered extremely dangerous. Do not approach them. If you have information on any of the cases, please contact your nearest FBI office or call our toll-free number, 1-800-876-5353. Recently, we featured a special segment called FBI Alert. In it, we profiled 4 fugitives wanted on charges ranging from drug trafficking to murder. Thanks to calls from you, our viewers, 3 of these 4 fugitives have now been apprehended. In 1986, accused drug kingpins William McCarthy and Thomas Paul Hickey fled the state of Indiana after being indicted by a federal court on 43 counts of drug trafficking. In response to a viewer tip, Thomas Paul Hickey was arrested by FBI agents just 4 days after our broadcast. Hickey was living in Bainbridge Island, Washington, under the assumed name Paul James Kelly. 1 week later, Hickey's alleged accomplice, William McCarthy, was arrested near Victoria, Canada, after authorities received a tip from another of our viewers. McCarthy was living under the assumed name Alan Scott Daly with his wife and daughter. McCarthy and Hickey are expected to stand trial in Indiana. If convicted, the 2 men could each receive a maximum sentence of life in prison without parole. 25-year-old Juan Jackson was wanted in connection with a 1988 kidnapping and murder of a Texas woman and her young son. They were apparently abducted after a botched drug deal and later killed, allegedly by one of Jackson's partners. Just minutes after Jackson was profiled, our telecenter received an anonymous call identifying the fugitive as a truck driver for a soft drink company in Carson, California. When Jackson arrived on the job the next morning, He was arrested by FBI agents. Juan Jackson has been returned to Texas to face charges of kidnapping and murder. If convicted, Jackson could receive life in prison.